Hello and welcome to another episode of Sean Talks, and today we have Stephen here with us. Stephen, can you share with us who you are and what do you do?
Okay, thanks, Sean. So my name is Steven. I am currently a year 2 student in NUS studying business analytics. A fun fact, I came from Indonesia. I'm not even Singaporean here.
And how long have you been here?
I've been here since 2019, so I guess it marks my 6th year being in Singapore.
Do you like it here?
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic here in a way, and it's very clean. So I think it's a really good thing about Singapore.
I see. So if you were to compare like how's life like here versus Indonesia, right? What are the three main differences you think, apart from the traffic?
So I think firstly, definitely is stress.
Okay.
The way, being in Singapore, studying in Singapore is very much different from Indonesia. There's a lot more competitions here. I think that's the first main difference. I guess secondly is also the people around you. I guess in Indonesia, I think the people around me is from more diverse backgrounds, I would say. But here, everywhere I look around me, I guess because I came from Indonesia, so like the different level of economic, status in a way.
Okay.
I think that's the second thing. Lastly, I would say it's really small. So
Definitely if you compare it to Indonesia.
right. So it's like even the first month I was here, I was bored. I didn't know where to go else.
Okay.
So I think I've been to JB so many times as well. So I guess that's the difference. If in Indonesia I can travel around.
I see. So, what is one thing that you're thankful for living in Singapore as compared to Indonesia?
I would say safety.
Okay.
In a way here, there was countless of times where, maybe let's say I left my wallet on my table, in the restaurant, or let's say my phone anywhere. But when I go back and I really come there, it's still there,
Yep.
But I think back in Indonesia, it's not something that we can do. We need to be very conscious of where we put our things.
Yes.
So I think that's something I'm really thankful for Singapore as well.
And fun fact, you're actually the second Indonesian that have actually appeared on this show before. And there are some similarities, like you guys can remember, between what you've just said and what the previous guests have mentioned before. And to that, right, can you share more about, as a student living in Singapore, and you were saying that it's more stressful as compared to back in Indonesia. What made you come here to study if that's the case?
I would say I knew that's gonna be stressful, but it's worth the stress in a way, because Singapore education system, in terms of rankings and the kind of employability,
Okay.
it's much more compared to Indonesia.
Yes.
And I guess the average wage there is also much lower.
Yeah.
So that's why I went here. I do know from my seniors that's gonna be very stressful, but I guess I just pushed.
So you really prepared for it?
Yeah.
Were there any times in your first year, I'm quite sure back then you were still pretty young, right? Did you feel like giving up? Like, do you miss home? Because that's where your family and your friends who you grew up with actually are.
Wow, I was homesick, and to add on to that, there was COVID.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to go back for 2 years
Oh no.
when I was 15 and 16 living alone in Singapore.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Do you
Yeah.
know anybody back here? In Singapore before you came?
I didn't.
Oh, so you came here alone.
I came here alone. I have no relatives here as well.
And I think that the fact that because it was during COVID, you did not manage to, you cannot go out and make friends, make
Yeah.
it to a certain extent worse, right? And how do you cope with it?
I do like listening to music and just walk around.
Okay.
In a way, even during COVID, I was able to still walk around in my floor.
Fair enough, because you are alone, so there's no social
Right.
distancing.
Yeah, and also I find joy in just resting.
I see.
I think COVID gave me a lot of time to really rest in a way.
Soak in the inner peace.
Soak in the inner peace. Yes. So I was able to have my own private time,
Yes.
for that's 1 year. Afterwards, then I went out to
I
socialize.
see.
Yeah.
I think that's good because I think from this, I can tell that you're pretty resilient, and quite open to change and challenges, right? Which brings us back to the next point because understand from friendship that apart from school, you have actually built a business empire, I would say. Cross-border business.
Yeah.
Can you share more about that?
Last year, I actually started this thing called a tuition business. I would say it's very different from Singapore, even though
Okay.
Singapore has a lot of tuitions, but it's more of online tuitions where I provided to Indonesian students that actually wants to go to Singapore for high school or even uni for scholarships.
Which
Yeah.
basically means people who were like you back then.
People who are
thinking to coming to Singapore to study. And those are the challenges that you have faced previously. And thinking of how do you actually, I would say, help them, prepare them when they come over Singapore so they know what to expect. Is that correct?
Yes.
And how long has this business been going for?
So I would say by now it's about 13 months, just
Wow.
a little over the year.
I see. Congratulations on your anniversary then.
Thanks, man.
And like you're saying that you provide tuition. So what do you teach?
Practically everything.
Okay.
So I teach all subjects like math, chemistry, sciences, humanities, and English as well. And I also do have teachers below me as well.
Ah.
Yeah, so I do have two teachers currently. One is on training, one is already like, deployed.
Okay.
So in a way, they're also teaching mostly math and English.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, for example, right, just curious, if I'm a student living in Indonesia, why should I engage you? Or rather, what are the benefits they actually bring to the table? Because I'm quite sure these are the questions that have been asked, right? If I'm a student, I just apply to come to Singapore and study. Like, why I need to go through you, you see?
Yeah. I think aside from that as well, like a lot of people has been like comparing me to like, let's say, other tuition businesses. But I think one of the things that I do provide to them is not just tuition, but also mentorship. And as you mentioned, I have a lot of personal experiences to share as well.
Okay.
Right. So in a way, I'm providing them more like individualized experiences. And also I'm someone who has gone through the tests as well.
Ah.
So compared to other teachers out there, they don't really know how the questions look like.
I see.
I know because I've gone through it. So I can share the struggles as well as, how does the question.
So it's more of just providing like lessons and tuitions. It's actually so much more in terms of mentorship and like, look, I've been here before. I've done all this before.
Yeah.
You want to experience what is it like living in Singapore? What are the things to expect? I'm the go-to guy.
Yes.
More than just tuition.
Exactly.
And you're saying that you have actually a few tutors under your
Yeah.
care. And what do these tutors actually do? Like, do they just teach as well? Because are they from Indonesia?
So these tutors, two of the tutors, okay, so one of them is Malaysian, so he's the
Okay.
one that's already deployed.
Okay.
The other one is Singaporean, which is on training. So
Okay.
in a way, they have gone through the formal education in Singapore, like
Yep.
secondary school and JC. So they know the curriculum quite well.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, they're just someone who I basically contact in terms of, let's say there's new people coming in and let's say they do want to find like more private, because for me, I offer more class group size.
Okay.
But in a sense, for them, it's more private.
I
So
see.
that's the kind of like differences between myself and my teacher.
Understand. But from a business point of view, right? Because, for example, I'm a parent of this child.
Yes.
And this child wants this personalized experience from you.
Yes.
Because you have been there, you have done it, and you know what are the things to expect. How do you convey that your team of tutors are able to deliver as well?
So I think first things first, my tutors, one of them, the Malaysian, actually got the scholarship as well. So I think that was quite easy. But if not, I would tell them that firstly is they have been trained under me. Like let's say joining classes that I teach. So they have seen how I teach and seen the kind of like notes and curriculums that I use. And I also provide it to them as well.
Ah.
So in a sense, like all the resources they have, it's all the same.
Okay.
And obviously I've also tested them for about like a month.
Okay.
So in that month, I was able to see how they teach. And it's almost the same, I would say, the kind
Okay.
of like, benefits they provide.
I see.
And if let's say that's not something that they are, very much interested in, we usually do this thing where both of us will be teaching at the same time.
Okay.
So they can do a small comparison. The parents themselves can join in.
So it's like a demo session first.
A demo session first. Yes.
Okay. Because a lot of times I think you are dealing with the parents more than the children when it comes to tuitions and mentorship programs, right?
Yes.
Do you keep in close contact with the parents? Like, I'm quite sure they'll ask you, hey, why are my kids' results are not performing better and stuff like that. Do you have like a monthly review with the parents or
Yeah.
whatnot?
For myself, we have this thing called progress tests every month.
Okay.
So at the end of the month, we give them a progress test and the results I'll give it to the parents.
Okay.
Aside from that, I'll also do a webinar once a month to
Uh-huh.
discuss these results and also what's the plans moving forward.
Okay.
So I say I would keep the communication as transparent as possible. I'm not
Okay.
gonna cover up and overglaze everything.
Yep.
I'm gonna be truthful to them. Like this is the current progress of your kid, and how can we move forward? How can we put
Understand.
more discipline? I think it's really important in any tuition business or services business for you to be transparent to your clients.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important as well. Another point that I'm just curious about also is that because you are giving this student like a glimpse of what it's life like studying in Singapore or even living in Singapore, but are your students mostly have been accepted already or they have not been accepted yet?
Okay, so most of my students haven't been accepted yet.
Haven't been accepted. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure that you cannot give them the assurance that all these things, step 1 to 10, you definitely get. There's no guarantee in this, right?
Yes.
You will just increase the chances.
Yes.
And so based on your trade secrets, what are the things that examiners actually look out for?
Yes, precisely.
And how do you keep up to date regarding what these examiners are actually looking out for? Because likewise for teaching new syllabus, the marking criteria is always different.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself up to date? Since the last time you did was probably 6 years ago, 7 years ago,
Yeah.
compared to now, times have changed, syllabus have changed, the questions they ask might have changed as well.
Yeah.
How do you keep yourself up to date?
I think firstly is sometimes I'll ask for my students to see their scripts. So
Okay.
audio scripts. So basically I compare that markings from the teachers to myself.
Okay.
So I see what kind of differences are the teachers looking out for.
Yep.
And secondly, I also keep in close contact with my teachers back in secondary school and
Wow.
GC.
Okay.
And
Impressive.
yeah, so like I just asked them about like, okay, so there's a curriculum change. What kind of changes do you see? It's really interesting that they're very open to share about these things.
Yep.
Because I mean, in a way, they also want the best for their students.
Fair enough.
And since they know I'm teaching their students, I mean, additional classes, I think they want me to also help them to, get the best
Yes.
results possible.
Yes. And with regards to like the examiner, asking the interview questions when someone is applying to come to NUS, NTU, SMU or whatnot, right? How do you then keep yourself updated with the questions? By asking former students also?
Yes. So, I mean, for us, I mean, we can always ask seniors in terms of their questions, and
Okay.
it will change every year.
Yeah.
But I would say there's a general gist of what questions are being asked.
And-
I would say it probably only changes every like 4 or 5 years ish. There's like a
Okay.
cycle for it. And yeah, I'll definitely ask like my juniors or the people I teach, what kind of questions are you asked? It may not be 100% the same as what I
Definitely.
teach them. But mostly is I'm teaching them not to answer the questions, tips and tricks to stay calm, stay confident, how to tackle unexpected questions.
You'll do a role play with them
Yes.
before they come forward.
Yes, like a simulation in a way.
So they will like just role play with them, like what the questions being asked, how you should answer it,
Yeah.
what you should take note of and stuff like that.
Yes.
Wow. So you're more than a tuition teacher, you're more than a mentor. Anybody who wants to send their kids over to Singapore, be from Indonesia, China, Malaysia, or whatnot, you are the guy, basically.
Yes.
Because your USP is you have been there, you have done that.
Yes.
Alright, I think that's very, very impressive considering the fact that you just started this business and you've been in Singapore for like less than 5 years. I think that's very,
Yep.
very remarkable because you managed to see untapped market
Yes.
that no one has actually seen it.
Yep.
But every businesses have their challenges.
Yep.
When you first started this business, can you share on what are your initial challenges?
I think in any business, once you start, you don't really have any credibility in a way.
Yeah.
You don't have any statistics
Fair
to
enough.
offer. They'll be asking, oh, is there any previous batches, any success rate in a way? I have nothing to offer to them.
Oh, okay.
So I started small in terms of like private classes, and I wasn't able to teach a big group of class. And secondly was outreach.
Okay.
I think in these kind of businesses, words of mouth is really important. Marketing.
Yeah.
It wasn't really big yet because I have nothing to offer. I'm still a university student. I think that also affects the credibility. They'll be asking, oh, have you graduated? I'll be like, I'm a university student. And be like, oh, why are you teaching? I'm
Okay.
like a real teacher.
Okay.
Right? So I think that was the biggest problem. And also secondly is liaising with clients.
Yes.
I realized that I learned it the hard way. Like some clients have different ways to liaise with them. Some are much softer. Some are much more strict. Like they'll be asking every day, what's the progress?
Yep.
I need to be adaptable to how
Okay.
to answer both sides.
Fair enough, fair
Yeah.
enough. And what are the future plans for this business?
I think the future plans for myself would be to expand more to Thailand actually.
Okay.
Because actually Thailand has a lot of people that actually go to Singapore as well and
Alright.
applying to NUS.
Alright.
I want like a longer term and a bigger plan will be China. Even in NUS, in UTown, there's so many tourists coming from China,
Yep.
bringing their kids to
Yep.
show NUS. And I feel that's a really big untapped market. A lot of my friends have been doing it, but it's probably like very private classes.
I see. So maybe you can start to teach Chinese.
Yes, like
to look for more Chinese teachers, and stuff like that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Because I'm quite sure the interview will be in English, right?
yes.
Yes, I think that's amazing because apart from you have a 3-year plan to a certain extent, like you want to target Thailand in the near future, hopefully penetrate the China market
Yeah.
based on your experience. And also another interesting fact about Steven is that he is also very involved in the school extracurricular activities, right? What do you actually do in terms of
Wow.
CCA?
Actually, every time people ask me this, it'll be like a whole list of things. So I'm currently very interested in this thing called financial technology or fintech.
Okay.
So I'm part of the NUS FinTech Society. I think
Okay.
that's first. So I plan events, do calls with companies when they have workshops in NUS. That's the main thing I do. Then aside from that, I'm also in this thing
what?
called Oceanus. It's basically an overseas volunteering program.
Okay.
So it's an OCIP, and basically we went to Laos last May.
Wow.
And what we did there was mainly sustainability projects. So we did like solar power lamps and water projects to help the village in Laos to basically learn more about sustainability and adopt sustainability practices.
I see that's very interesting as well because this is totally unrelated to the tuition that you're actually offering
Yes.
business, right?
Yeah.
So what made you get started on this volunteering? Because I always feel that as an active volunteer myself, I always feel that volunteering comes from the heart. And all these things, it takes up time. It takes up effort as well. So what made you get started with volunteering?
Back then when I was in secondary school, because of COVID, I found that it's really hard to socialize. And I feel like volunteering, aside from from just helping people has allowed me to really like interact with more people from different backgrounds.
Yes.
For example, I did volunteering that was like helping literacy with like primary school students.
Okay.
And I was also, helping in terms of digital technology for elderly people.
Yep.
So I was able to really integrate and also like lives with so many different like age backgrounds, I would
Okay.
say. And I really enjoyed the experience, even though I need to like wake up in the morning on a Saturday
Yep.
and I have so much other things to do. I think it's a really satisfying and fulfilling experience. And I think coming to uni, I really wanted to do something more overseas.
Okay.
Because I feel the Singapore scene, it's volunteering, there's a lot of different types,
Yes,
but
yes.
it's just that.
Okay.
So I was thinking like, how about exploring overseas experiences on volunteering? I mean, Oceanas catch my eye.
Okay.
And that's why I think I went for it.
I think that's quite remarkable because I always believe that volunteering comes from the heart. And to be honest, from my years of doing volunteering, right, it's not so much so about like, some people say, oh, how do you find time and all this? For me personally, it's the little joys in life that money
Yes,
hapai.
yeah.
You see, that actually, I wouldn't use the word help, but actually make someone's life better. So I think that's a mad respect to you as well because you managed to spearhead some initiatives, like even going to Laos to do your volunteering work.
Yeah.
And the most important question is, how do you actually find time? You have volunteering, you have your business, you have your school, and based on our interactions, you do quite a number of badminton as well, right?
Yeah.
So how do you find time?
Every Sunday night, this is what I do, is I'll open my Google Calendar and I'll put everything that I have in the week. So in
Okay.
a sense, like every meetings, every badminton sessions or just schoolwork, I'll just put it all in my Google Calendar and I'll see how much time I have left.
Okay.
In a way. And I think that really helps me because I keep on track in what I want to do on the day. And if, let's say, any of my friends really want to meet, then I know specific timings that I can meet. I'm not really sacrificing my socializing time. At the same time, I'm not sacrificing, my studies, my commitments as well. So I think it's just to find the right balance between the two and waking up early. I
Okay.
think that's the important thing.
Okay.
I wake up like 7:30 to 8 a.m. every day.
Yes.
Even though I don't have class in the morning.
Yep.
And even on the weekends.
Yes, I realized that.
Right. Which is really hard for anyone to do.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough. Coming from someone who likes to sleep in, I totally
Yeah.
understand that it's definitely not easy. So, what is something you would tell someone who say, I don't have time?
Wow, that's the thing. Usually when someone tells me I don't have the time,
Yes.
they don't have group projects, I'll be like, okay, firstly, I want to know what you do in that.
Okay.
Because like the thing is like sometimes when you say that you don't have the time, it's because you want to have your own me time or you want to
Yes.
have like your own like any like socializing time, right? Which I do understand that some people definitely need it. Everyone needs their own private time, right? But I think I will also tell them like where's the priority in a way.
Okay.
Right? Because if let's say it's a group project, that means you're in a way sacrificing other people's time. People have put in time to like meet up.
Okay.
Right. And for myself, I'll also be telling them like, this is my schedule.
Okay.
And I've made the time for this. So I feel like it's only respectful that you make the time for it.
Okay. So, in other words, just telling them that you got time. You just have to prioritize.
Yes.
And my time is equally as important as your time.
Yes.
So, you make time.
Yes.
The bottom line in a more harsh manner.
Yeah.
Okay. I think time management is something that is very important, be it you are schooling, even if you are working as well, because my job as a financial advisor, people like to say, financial advisors have the war of time, which is fair because I do not need to report to office 9.
Yeah.
I do not knock out at 5 p.m. and stuff like that. But I've seen many financial advisors used to take this flexibility of time for granted, and that leads to poor time management.
Yeah.
And which leads them to, I'll use the word like not very successful in this industry because at the end of the day, my job is like a business. It's like you.
Yeah.
You see, we run our own business. We just have to manage our time well. And I totally agree with what you say. What do you prioritize?
Yeah.
Because everybody only have 24 hours a day.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's whether you want to sleep 7 hours or you want to sleep 8 hours or
Yeah.
sleep 9 hours.
Yeah.
Right. So I totally agree with you on that. Okay. So to any international students coming to Singapore, what are the 3 advice you give them? Both in terms of what to expect since it's going to be a brand new experience and also any checklist, be it housing, insurance, and etc.
I think firstly is most importantly finances because Singapore I would say is one of the more expensive countries in terms of living or in terms of just buying food or everything. So I think it's really important to like manage your budget,
Okay.
manage your finances. I think that's something I really learned the hard way because at the start I was like underestimating the amount of money I'm gonna spend.
Okay.
So I think it's not just your cost of living, but also like the kind of possible risks that can be associated.
Okay.
Yeah, so for example, simply insurances. Hospitalization bills in Singapore. I learned it from my friend that actually went to not my friend, my relative that she came to Singapore for hospitalization in a way.
Yes.
She doesn't have any insurance.
Okay.
Right, but the prices were so high to the point that she needs to take a loan. So I think that's
Understand.
one of the biggest issue. I believe the insurance is really important, even though you think that you're very healthy in a way, right?
Yeah.
I guess secondly would be to manage your time really well. Managing time is something that you need to build up based on experience because you realize that how much time do you need for a certain thing, how much, socializing you need as
Yes,
well.
yes.
I think finding the right balance requires time and
Okay.
practice. So I think that's really important to, manage your time really well.
Yep.
Yeah. And lastly is I feel you should also have fun. If you come into Singapore, especially for students, don't just be studying.
Yes.
Right? You should also be socializing, learning, because Singapore is a melting pot of so much different
Yeah,
cultures. And I think you can really meet so much people from
enough.
different nationalities.
Fair enough.
So I think do take advantage of that.
So the three advice will be manage your finances, manage your time, and most importantly, have tons of fun.
Yes.
Because this country rather has a diverse culture and there
Yes.
are lots of different ethnic groups, nationalities, and different people from different walks of life that you can actually talk to, different culture to actually experience. Okay, so interesting fact is that Steven here actually reached out to me on my socials to inquire about financial planning. And with that being said, what are the three key insurance you feel that is the most important for a foreign student coming to Singapore to study?
Firstly and most importantly would be, I would say travel insurance.
Okay.
I realized the joy of traveling from now on, and especially you need to go back to your home country if you're an international student for
Okay.
holidays or even traveling with your friends.
Okay.
And I think it's that ease of mind when you have a travel insurance there with you and you
Fair.
don't need to keep applying for it whenever you travel. I guess secondly will be hospitalization.
Okay.
You never know what will happen to you. For example, let's say you got some injury from playing sports or let's say in a way you're just over burning out yourself.
Yes.
These kind of things will be something that you never know and unexpected things. You might think you're healthy, but next day you may not.
Yes.
So I think that's really important as well. And I guess lastly will be critical illness.
Okay.
We never know whether we have any track record of any disease from our parents, genetics or anything, or even ourselves. We don't never know how bad our health is because I feel there's a big problem between Gen Zs. We're really scared of checking ourselves.
Don't know better.
Right. We're like, you know what? Let's just not go for it.
Okay,
But the thing
okay.
is, if you don't go for it, then you never know if you have any problems with
Yes.
your own body. So I
Understand.
guess having this critical illness is also helpful.
Yeah, I would think that many international students, they probably have their own insurance back in where they are from, maybe Indonesia, Malaysia, or even China. Do you recommend them if that's the case? Even for yourself, engage me back then to do financial planning. You probably had Indonesian insurance back then.
Yes.
But you look to have coverage in Singapore. Do you advise them to do so? If yes, why?
I think it boils down and it depends on what kind of services are you looking for. Coming from an Indonesian, we know that Singapore healthcare system is much better compared to Indonesia. I think that's one of my biggest reasons why I went for insurance in Singapore. Although I do understand that in terms of price, definitely Indonesia will be cheaper, right?
Yep.
Because of the prices there as well.
Okay.
But the thing is, if let's say I do even stay in Indonesia and have a problem, I have some injury or a big thing,
Yeah.
I'd rather go to Singapore in a
Okay.
way because I feel more safe. And the way that in Indonesia, there's so much problems in the insurance industry.
Okay.
The point that I don't think it's very reliable for me to find someone. Right. So I feel like it's better to do it in Singapore and the alcohol system is just much better.
So I think the key thing here is assurance.
insurance, yes.
Fair enough. So what are your goals in the future? After you graduate, do you intend to stay in Singapore for long, settle down here?
Wow, I feel like I will settle down here.
Okay.
I think being here for 6 years has given me a lot of good memories as well. And I feel like the safety and how clean it is and, job security is something that I really value as much
Okay.
in Singapore compared to Indonesia. So I really like this place. No matter how boring it is, I would say it's very small, but I can still travel the world. I can still travel to nearby countries.
Yes.
I don't think that's a big problem for me. Yeah, I think having the assurance of health and safety and everything else, it's something that I really value.
Yeah, I think safety and stability is something that's
Yes.
the most important thing, be it wherever you are. Right, so what are the three things you actually look out for in an insurance agent?
Actually, Sean here, my insurance agent. So I'll tell you what 3 things I saw from him. So I would say firstly is how much the person really wants to understand me. Because I did meet with other insurance agents before, and I think that they base the kind of things they provide to me or suggest to me based on the amount of money I make, which I don't feel is something I look for in an insurance agent. They should also know what is my backgrounds, how does my, my day-to-day life look like, and how risky possibly it is, how much is it sports or anything. I think that's really important for you to get to know the clients. I think that's something that I really look for. So personalized services. I think the second thing is also just how much care the person provides. I think when you meet the insurance agent, I don't think it's a good idea for myself. If I see an iPad, I think that's something of a deterrence to me because like,
Fair
oh,
enough.
the person's ready to sell me something.
Okay,
I think
okay.
that stigma is really bad. So I guess having a small chit chat session first to get to know, back to the first point, is really important.
Yep.
And lastly is constant checkups. Like afterwards, after the policies are there, I think it's really important to manage like relationships,
Yes.
right? So I really didn't want it to be like just a work transactional, relationship. I wanted to also like be in a way, a friend, and also like to be able to talk about other things as well, not just about these insurances as well.
I think
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of similarities between my job and Steven's job as a tutor, educational mentor.
Yeah.
You see, because we are both self-employed and there are a lot of similarities.
Yes.
Be it like knowing your clients better, doing something that's actually suitable for them, that's actually personalized for them rather than just pushing, you should come for me because blah, blah, blah. No, I think that the vibes must be there, the trust must be there as well.
Yes.
So once again, thank you so much for your time, Steven, and I really appreciate this friendship that we've had. I'm quite surprised, to be very honest, because when he first reached out to me on social media and asked me to head out to NUS to look for him, I think, oh my god, who is this guy? Why is he asking me out to NUS to be?
Yeah.
And my rule of time is I place a lot of emphasis on knowing the person, getting to understand him better. I want to make sure that we can vibe. So Steven, thank you so much once again. Can you share your socials to everyone out there, potential parents who are actually thinking of sending their kids over to Singapore? How can we actually look for you?
Okay, so I think firstly you can also look for me on Instagram. My handle will be Steven Nathaniel M12. And inside that, in my bio, so there will be like the handles for my basic tuition business, which will be a separate Instagram account. You can DM me there, or there's also my number there as well. So
Okay.
you can reach out to me if there's any educational help that you need.
Okay, how about for like-minded individuals who want to find out more about volunteering? How can I actually look for you then?
Okay, so actually, if let's say you're in NUS, Oceanas is still recruiting.
Okay.
So I think that's one thing that we can do as well. Aside from that, I'm also open to any volunteering opportunities.
Okay.
So I guess if you're looking for volunteers or looking for collaboration, partnerships, you can always DM me as well.
Okay.
I'm really open to any possible collaborations.
And lastly, if you're looking for someone to play badminton with, Steven here is pretty
yes,
damn good.
please.
So pretty damn good, yes?
I'm okay.
That's a very humble opinion.
Yeah.
So he has been bragging to me that how good he is in badminton because he plays it very often. How many times a week again?
3 times a week.
That shows practice makes perfect. So thank you all once again. I hope that you find this chit chat session fruitful for you guys. And thank you, Steven.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.